We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I'm back.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
I like the way you ride with that booty on me.
It's going down.
Go down while you looking lonely.
It's going down.
Come around and it's all on me.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed to go down.
So, new year, new intro. Let's get it. I'm not so sure if I'm going to promise to be a brand new me this year, but my reactions are going to be a lot differently. I'm not going to be doing the most. I'm not going to be doing above and beyond, and I'm going to stay in my lane. That is how 2026 is going to be from here out. Either roll with me or I'm going to roll over you or around you. Whichever is easier.
Okay, she headed to the dance floor and she slowly started popping it. Song like my wrist piece, everybody got to watching it. Girl, you got that secret treasure, I'm gon' put a lock on it. Don't care what they say, I would be stupid if we not on it.
Watch me flex.
As Pope Leo XIV marks his first Easter as pontiff.
Raccomandiamo tutti I cuori.
This Easter's Urbi et Orbi message, a Latin phrase meaning to the city and the world, a sweeping papal address on global affairs, delivered only at Christmas, Easter, and at the election of a new pope.
La croce di Cristo.
The 70-year-old born in Chicago calling for peace around the world, with Russia's war in Ukraine in its 5th year, and the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran now in its 2nd month.
E imploriamo il Signore.
On this day of celebration, let us abandon every desire for conflict, domination, and power, and implore the Lord to grant his peace to a world ravaged by wars.
Still am on a healing journey of sorts because I'm trying, in addition to maintaining my or decreasing my weight, because I should not be the weight that I am. I'm big back, but I'm beyond big back at this time. But my reality is I am trying to find natural ways to decrease my inflammation. So I'm doing things to protect my peace. One of those is dealing with a narcissistic professional martyr. I have found that there are passive-aggressive. I'd love to come and just float in your pool with you, knowing that's a loaded statement. It's meant to trigger guilt, because I'm successful enough to have a home with an in-ground pool, heated saltwater pool at that. And I'm getting ready to move on to hitting my FIRE number, which is financially independent and to retire early. While they're having, or most people that have to restart their whole career, I'm looking at the hope that maybe in the next 5 to 7 years, I will be able to either retire comfortably or retire from one position or type of work to move on to something else. But they can't fathom that, so they would rather me feel guilty about even thinking about doing something like that. Well, don't have time for it. You can kick rocks. I acknowledge that not everybody is going to really be happy for you. They're not going to approve of anything that will allow you to increase the value of your current house above even where it stands today. Because I think it's outrageous. I know if I had to move out and start all over again and try to get this house at the elevated market value, I wouldn't be able to get in. now I wouldn't be able to get in. But I am manifesting being of that ilk, that even if I did move out or I had to buy a house similar to what this house is valued at or above, I got it. That's what I'm manifesting also in the next 1 to 2 years. I don't need someone's stamp of approval for my own financial freedom. I'm going to go get it whether you hating on me or not. Also, I'm tired of extending an invitation to a possible in-home vacay when you can't even, when that person doesn't know how to relax, because that is a flaw. That's a them problem. That's not a flaw of my hospitality. I don't have to pull people in anymore. Shoot, my pool is still closed, and it's also closed to drama. I'm sorry. I've known in the past where my birthdays were ruined by someone's inability to enjoy themselves, someone's selfish inability because they didn't want to do what I wanted to do, which was eat chicken and donuts at Jefferson's Monument in D.C., or not being able to pull the plug on a dog that need to go and walk into the light. And they were failing for months, even prior to the last medical emergency. Look, because someone else can't make hard decisions or choices, if you try to continue to pull these people in, it also becomes your emergency. Just because I don't want to keep being on this hamster wheel of them not wanting advice or people not wanting advice. They just want an audience, because not everyone can go with you. If you're moving on into a positive rant, they're going to be mad as hell. But if you're going to be able, and me in particular, if I'm going to be able to completely enjoy and to continue to look forward this next chapter of my life, which I am writing myself, I got to break some of these passive-aggressive, narcissistic traits, martyrdom cycles. I can't be a part of that cycle anymore and move on into a positive realm. It's only positive vibes over here, y'all. And you can't roll with that and intentionally seek positivity, you can't roll with me. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to be mad. Also, and I say all of this to say is because, and even my podcast is late because I seriously didn't have the strength to podcast or to publish a podcast. Why? I was supposed to be out in Sedona, but since diesel is $12,000 a gallon, I changed that until later. And until all the nonsense in the Straits of Hormuz calm down, I may have to change the dates again. But that's cool. It'll just give me more time and money to basically gather up all the cash and have it in my kitty. So I will be able, by the time I go out there, the trip will be paid for. You know, don't need to take out a loan to take a vacation. And then I can write about the experience without having such a huge burden lingering overhead. So I had to do a couple of things. I had to get and prepare my RV to go out west. I had to get it serviced from the front bumper to the back bumper, 2 different service lines, Camping World and Mercedes dealership. The engine on my 2017 Synergy is a 2016 Sprinter engine. There are no authorized Mercedes dealership with the lift equipment to be able to take care of that here in Chattanooga. So I have to drive it up to the dealership in Knoxville. Cool. There's a KOA Sweetwater, didn't disappoint. But the rest of the preparatory work to go out on the RV was is hard, because a couple of things have transitioned from the last time that I actually went camping. Even though I'm kind of high risk because my mother died of metastatic breast cancer at 48, I've had several aunts die of ovarian cancer. My grandmother died of colon cancer. I've had extended genetic testing. I'm BRCA1 and 2 negative, and I have no other anomalies as far as my genetic code, that as far as I've been tested so far. And I'm also still getting just screening breast MRIs, which in itself is expensive, but the last one that I just had last week was negative. I say all of those things to say is I am completely off hormonal replacement therapy. And I transitioned to using the Black Girl vitamins, menopause, which, if I'm still and perfectly honest, has been extremely helpful in the 8 months since I've been off of HRT. But the reality is, in this nice and warm April, I still wasn't prepared for the full body crash that presented when I drove out to Sweetwater. I did not realize just how much free water and electrolyte depletion that I lost through my sweat. I haven't felt this way since officers training down in Montgomery in August of 2000. I had weakness in my hands, increased knee pain that I already have because I have bad arthritis, full body aches like I was withdrawing from life. And now that I've been back for 2 days, I'm finally feeling back to my own self. It took over 48 hours to just recover from a disastrous previous 48 hours. This just highlights how fragile our baseline is when you're on some hormonal shifts or just menopause in general. If you are rolling solo, and there's so many Black women and women that are doing this. I'm doing it from a bigger rig. I saw somebody doing it from a small Jeep. But it is difficult to manage hookups and setup when you're depleted. You have to have a full pre-flight checklist, like hydration protocols like liquid IV, which I'm waiting on my shipment now, not shipment, but my grocery order now, and other electrolyte powders before the sweating starts. And it's so difficult to be able to do it and to do it on a really unorganized RV, because my RV had been shut up for a year. I just started. It's taken me at least 2 weeks to even get it to the unorganized state. Stuff that I didn't realize that I needed. Making sure that I knew how to get the refrigerator to cut on to gas, by making sure all of the propane lines, all the air is out of that. Just a lot of things that I have to, to think of that I really haven't had to think about for a year and a half. You think living in an RV for over a year would have prepared me for this, but I've lived in an RV for over a year, 2017 to 2019. I've moved out of that at this time because I'm at the age and the stage and the weight that muscling through is not a strategy anymore. Planning for physical conservation is. I can't heal systemic inflammation if I'm being triggered by martyrs and I'm physically depleted. My goal is, this is just my personal goals. I'm pretty much still working to resurfacing my pool deck, increasing the safety of said pool deck, moving into an early retirement, and a body that is properly fueled for the road, truly the road ahead. I'm trying to move away from a state of reactive survival to a proactive planning, because tomorrow I'm getting ready to go out to Harrison Bay, one of my favorite places in the world. It proves that a state can actually have a state park and it can still be really dope luxury. I'm really focusing on rehydrating without alcohol, because that basically takes it away. I'm going to be doing my hookups in stages. There's no shame in me having a chair next to it. If it takes me longer if I have to take a rest between hooking up the water, and because we don't have sewer out at this site, but also taking my time when I have to dump right before I leave. Also, priority plugging in, doing all those things and arranging my RV so I get access to my Dallas Cowboys chair and I can sit in peace and make sure my pliers are in my hand just in case I need extra oomph to turn the connections. That's what I actually have to do. And I'm also going to be thinking about bringing some type of cooling tower or a spray bottle. Just when I'm flashing, I can give myself a flash of water, but also getting Angela from Real Housewives of Atlanta's, her Fangelas, that may also be an option too. She has the one that was blinged out. I'm actually looking for that. I'm going to be able to appreciate with just these changes, Harrison Bay, which is beautiful and peaceful. I'm reminding myself that I have no room for drama. My signal is off and I don't have a backup. I'm literally out of range for things that are going to block me being able to enjoy the beauty and the peace of where I got to go and where I am going. I'm reclaiming my vacation mindset because I'm a gatekeeper of my own experience. If people can't reach you to digitally unload on you, that's going to just have to be the new thing, because I ain't got time for your drama. I got my own drama that I'm keeping at a low so I can enjoy the time off that I actually have. I can now really truly be honest. Oh, the trees were too thick for a signal. Well, knowing good and hell well that I got to back up, but they don't need to know that. I'm going to enjoy my rehydration and hydration with liquid IV. I'm going to take my hookup slow, and I'm going to enjoy the sound of the wind instead of a notification chime. I'm actually looking forward to going out. I'm always a little nervous about new experiences, but I'm going out with a newer mindset, which actually decreases the fear. But you have to have a certain amount of fear when you're taking things, because you actually are able to differentiate between and be able to prepare for and react to different situations. Knowing that all skin folks ain't kin folks, and that's a word. And also being your head on swivel and knowing when people present themselves as being helpful when they're only casing the joint. My goal is just to read my books, play my video games, and prepare myself mentally and physically for the next chapters, which I'm writing, because I think they're going to be exciting and financially liberating.
Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. Online, on time, oh so bold. Slow down the morning, speed up the soul. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. A world of flavor delivered whole. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away. FB Roasters, your perfect cup, just a click away.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. So take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere. Where's to know and where's to grow, a temporal rainbow. I can be anything. So take a look, it's in a book, a tenfold rainbow. A tenfold rainbow. A tenfold rainbow. Could you be a self-aware sec unit that has been hacked by its own governor module and refers to itself, though never out loud, as a murder bot, who is scornful of humans? All you want to do is to be left alone long enough to figure out who it is, and you are secretly downloading 35,000 hours of a futuristic soap opera like Sanctuary Moon, and you have a deep physical need to hide because a human just tried to make eye contact with you, then yes, you're probably a murder bot. And what in the ham sandwich am I talking about? I just recently discovered Martha Wells' The Murderbot Diaries after a suggestion from my AI assistant. And this is probably going to be the biggest craze at this year's Comic-Con. If the being hacked sensation is killer, and let's just review what that actually means. If your social battery is you're not being perceived, and if you find human emotions confusing, messy, and frankly a bit gross, if I value my media library more than actual mission parameters, if you've ever prioritized a season finale over a security breach, and that's a red flag. Do you feel a deep sense of relief that no one is literally shocking your brain into compliance anymore, yet you still find yourself protecting those same humans because they're inexplicably bad at staying alive? And if you refer yourself by a terrifying name in private while acting like a bored, slightly grumpy, armored bodyguard in public, because that's the all is it murder by mindset entails. It's likely you're a fan of the most relatable characters in the modern sci-fi. And this is more so because I look at the oldies like Star Trek, and even though it wasn't strictly sci-fi, the Twilight Zone. But at the same time, I've never been more enthralled with a series that has nothing to do with Star Trek as I am with this particular one. There's something deeply human, ironically, about the desire to define oneself outside of work or expectations, even though that self-definition involves being a cynical, media-obsessed cyborg. It's crazy. While being a sec unit sounds cool, the built-in armory and energy weapons are all a plus. But the real-world version usually lacks the hacking abilities, mostly just involves needing a nap and some headphones. But if you do actually have a governor module installed in your neck under the guise of Google Glass or something else meta, please contact your local preservation alliance immediately, or just keep watching your shows. Nobody will tell the company. So, having the noise-canceling headphones, a nice blank stare, a comfort watch, and a hoodie, all of those are the most realistic parts of the book that doesn't really involve space travel. It's an idea that even a superpowered cyborg would spend his freedom binge watching media, because reality is just it's just too much to deal with. I am going to probably wrap up my breakdown of Federation during the next couple of weeks, I suggest. I'm going to go ahead and pre-order the first 3 of the series and get and probably pre-order the newest release that's supposed to drop in May. And just enjoy my time watching my shows, which is flipping between Selling OC, Antiques Roadshow Britain, and anything else down under. My apologies to Henry Mancini, but a riff on the Pink Panther theme is in alignment with a podcast segment dedicated to a fictional PI and all about true crime, or fictional crime in this case. Don't you think? Scamming who these days? There's a Bradley County resident. This is, where did I see this report? This is News Channel 9. Out of, I think this is East Tennessee. A woman who believed she was protecting herself from fraud instead of was becoming a victim of fraud that led to an arrest after detectives intervened during a second attempt for a cash pickup. This is how this works. They do a double team, or they tell you that your account is compromised. Basically, the hook is they create a sense of extreme urgency by claiming your money is in immediate danger from hackers or internal bank fraud. They tell you the only way that to protect your money is to remove it from the unsafe bank and move it to a government secured locker, a new Social Security account, or a physical drop-off. They basically also tell you You can't speak to anyone, including bank tellers or family. They claim that this might be part of the investigation, and you may compromise the investigation. This is what is true. The FBI, U.S. Marshals, IRS will never call you to demand you withdraw cash and drop it on someone. They never are going to demand, they don't need help by you transferring whatever money you got to some Apple Cash cards. That they don't need your help. They will never ask you to secure your funds by moving them, as I said, to gift cards, Bitcoin, or physical cash for pickup. Real banks will never ask you to lie to their own tellers about why you're withdrawing money. That is ridiculous. If you are ever caught in this kind of issue and you don't want to be part of a federal or state level sting, contact your bank immediately, even if you've already withdrawn the money. They need to secure your remaining accounts and your social security information. You can file a report with the FBI's IC3, and even though Raj Patel is head over there, there still is some validity to this, and I will actually drop the link in the notes. And also you can report fraud to the FTC. They play musical chairs over there with the leadership. So I'm not sure who will actually read that and give you an ETA on the time frame for a response. Also, you may be able to freeze your credit. I can easily do that with the click of a button on my Experian account, but also Equifax and TransUnion can also allow you to freeze your accounts very similarly too. Because they will use your personal, the scammers that is, info to open new lines of credit to basically twist in an already violating experience. Let's see, did I miss anything? I don't think so. And this also just protecting yourself from depletion from a financial and a physical standpoint is being organized and recognizing the scam and the tactics that scammers use. You can prevent it by just being financially organized, meaning knowing that the government will never ask for cash pickups and just using simple common sense. When you're actually not depleted in mind, you're well rested, well hydrated, you can think clearly and you can react appropriately not to be able to fall for the okie doke.
Let's calibrate the frequency on this one. The swamp is crowded, full of underfed, frozen-faced predators, snapping at marbles, desperate to be the chosen editors. They call it a lifestyle, but the game is just a rigged simulation. A no-win test designed to force a toxic confrontation. But the operator arrived with a full-blown session. No damsel in this room, no victim waiting for a cape. Just a mogul in the shadows, measuring the shape. Let's calibrate the frequency on this one.
So last week, I did a breakdown, not just on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I basically did an entire breakdown on the social currency of being near blackness but not committing to blackness, the whole debacle with Sierra from Summer House. And I started breaking down how black women, how Real Housewives of Beverly Hills chew up black women and people of color and spit them out. Some allow it to be done and they trash their real life friends and become bitter old Asian women with the podcast. And some, like Garcelle, give them the middle finger and they go back to their regular acting lives. But I think someone that's getting ready to Uno reverse, skip, draw for these bitches is Bozama St. John, and I'm actually here for it. I cut these last two parts of that particular breakdown because the episode would have been like 5 hours. But by themselves, the upcoming segments where I basically try to give what I'm thinking Bose is doing as the badass executive that she is, not was, truly is, yelling checkmate, and also how I wanted to do a whole clip montage like Uno that you can play on your phone and that do that voice, skip, draw for, Uno. So I think the next two segments are going to fit very much into that dynamic. And if I do have some time by the end of the week, I may actually do that in an upcoming episode. But for right now, I hope you enjoyed this next segment as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Also, I'll probably won't do much more of a breakdown on the Real Housewives series unless I see an urgent need to do a deeper dive, which I don't foresee that because all of them are running this same formula of attack, and delete, except for the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. And I believe Monte Carlo, which is Monica Garcia, and Carlos King are doing a magnificent job of breaking down the newest addition to the Real Housewives universe when their breakdown on that particular franchise on Patreon. And I will drop the link in the notes. You got to listen to it. Subscribe to Reality with the King on YouTube, but also check it out and consider a subscription on Patreon. I like that I'm going to frame or make the title of this part of the segment, Bose yelling, checkmate, bitch! Because what she's doing is playing an elevated game versus the usual formula of reality TV. And I wanted to be careful because as of late, I've watched Carlos King in his Reality with the King podcast with that bubble lip, Alexis Bellino, Jansen, I guess, DJ Ricky Sky, as well as Blue Taluzma give a whole segment on toxic femininity. And granted, they are reality TV scholars, but I wanted to be careful that I did not fall for the okie doke because I knew they were missing something. And I was like, I know they have a job to do. And Carlos always says he loves all the girls. He wants to get people on his show. Same with DJ Ricky Sky and Blue Taluzma that's been in the industry for 20 some odd years too. I just could not reliably follow them because I know they were missing something, because I still could not bring myself to trust and was not invested as a viewer in this current cast outside of Bose. And Jennifer Tilly, she just there eating her corn chips and wearing her fashion bought with Simpson money. You know, she and Cynthia Bailey and before she got her peach, what's her name? Oh gosh. Marlo Hampton need to give a true masterclass in what being a friend of means, because you are so much above the fray and the drama of the group. And this is where I think where they and I different. Bozoma St. John's conflict with Amanda, they're starting to frame it as a bully, and her tension with the group itself, she's not really a team player. Along the lines where there's a discrete break right down the middle. They are people that are in the Dorit camp and people that are in the Kyle camp. And there's no in between. They are seeing this as aggression when she's just performing a brand audit, because she is calling this girl's business out for what it seems it is, and she's not doing it for a viral clip. She's not going to nod at nonsense, because this is going to devalue her with her 100K plus speaking engagement. And she's not going to allow this show to lower her standards and infect her professional stock. She going to cut bait or fish, bitch. And when people say Dorit is using Bose to look cool, not really, because Bose allows this because she herself is the power broker. In corporate terms, she's a consultant, Dorit's the client, and as positioned herself as her buoy, she gets screen time, a hero edit, without having to be all caught up in the dirty work of the veteran feuds. I think Dorit, if you look at this after show episode, I honestly think Dorit said that bullshit about Bose giving her more supportive than Erica and Kyle, because Dorit knows how to play the game and she knew what exactly was going to piss them off, because Bose allowed her to be the victim and give her screen time because she knows she needs that check. And she's mad at Erica and Kyle because they won't allow her to be a victim. And that is what is paying Dorit's bills and allow her to buy overpriced designer bags. Or just rent more designer bags. Who knows? The chess move is Bose is not really trying to fit the mold. She's trying to break it. She knows that the mold usually ends with black women being fired or gaslit. By staying too much, she remains an outsider who can't easily be manipulated by the producers. Carlos King gives that producer not logic. He wants good TV, the table flipping, shouting, and the receipts that made his career. But I don't think he's come up with someone as dynamic as Bose. He's used to the shows making people like Bose and not the other way around. And I think that his interpretation is through the usual logic of reality TV. But Bose is flipping that executive logic on them. She sees the table flip might get you some high rating, but a checkmate exit preserves a multi-million-dollar career outside of the nuances of reality TV. Because that's her legacy. Her own, not is it the only thing that is keeping her solvent. Like Dorit, she has an exit strategy. She doesn't really need them. They need her. While the Hungry Hippos are fighting over who shot John and who sat where at the white party, she's conducting a whole hostile takeover. She's not a bully. She's a chief accountability office in a room full of people who haven't had a performance review in 15 seasons. It's refreshing that I get to clock her game for what it is. She's not there to join the group. She's there to benchmark them. And she doesn't need to be on one of their shows. She's it by herself. What happens if she does really skip the usual stops? And what does her actual media strategy look like? When you are part of the global C-suite, you don't need a Bravo specific podcast to argue about who said what at a dinner party. It lowers her brand to only that of a reality star when she's so much more than that. That's why she's doing the Today shows and the Jenna Bush shows and the Nikki Bree show, talking about her fertility, NAACP Image Award. And if you think that's big-headed, yeah, it is, because she doesn't need them, they need her. Why should she go to those shows? To recreate a narrative that she doesn't have such a great one herself? Girl, bye. She doesn't have to care about the edit to explain herself to anybody's focus group. She's not going to ask permission to live big. She just is going to live big. Your opinion of her performance is below her pay grade. So that's why she hasn't really answered to anybody, and she's not going to get into a back and forth with anybody. When she actually does appear on Watch What Happens Live, she handles Andy and his shady ass versus vice versa. She treats him like a peer, not her boss. She's going to defend Dorit because that's what she was brought on to do. But you best believe she going to cut bait if she starts lowering her brand, though. She's out there interviewing for Essence, Today, and major fashion outlets. And her other workshops. And she's not only talking about Kyle's split or Dorit shenanigans. She knows that those bitches are not loyalty to her, and she ain't loyal to the mess. She got other things to do. She's the only one not auditioning for her job. The other women can be terrified of being fired. Bose is the only one that looks like she's just visiting on a work-study program. It's not really necessary for her to go on those shows because she is the subject, not the student. She is the only actual housewife who's actually did a TED Talk. So all of that is below her pay grade. While that bitch is selling scammy manifestation, you let that sink in, folks. Let's let that sink in. Y'all are getting mad at her for calling out a bitch on some scammy classes about manifesting what with no real tools to get wealthy, while she's out here giving TED Talks to international clients and an audience. Really? Is this what we're doing now? Trying to diminish somebody for truly being the big bitch, bad bitch that y'all want them to be? Girl, bye. So here we are, and here I've been describing what makes Bose St. John the baddest in the room. That which made her a global icon, being unapologetically black, high-minded, and operating at a completely different frequency, is exactly what other reality TV vets use to topple newcomers. If you were to ask her if she's ripe for the fall, she wouldn't give you a quote, she'd give you a play-by-play deposition. Based on her career philosophy, The Urgent Life, where she actually gives actionable information instead of rich as AF. I'm just saying, if we're going to make comparisons here, she operates on a belief that authenticity is a non-negotiable asset. She always has said people will always try to tell you to be something else. Her response to being too high-minded is likely, I didn't get to the C-suite of Uber and Apple by lowering my mind to fit the room. Why would I start on this damn show? If you're waiting for her to fall, she'll remind them that she's already survived the greatest falls imaginable. Loss of her husband, professional failures, as well as being the only black woman in the room of billionaires. A villain edit on Bravo isn't a fall. It's just a Tuesday. And that show, it doesn't make her. She makes the show. So she's not going to soften her edges to make the hippos comfortable. She's probably going to double down on her Ghanaian heritage and her own branding and her executive tone by telling them, if my presence makes you feel small, that is a you problem, not a me problem. She knows that if she tries to be relatable or soft, she really will lose her actual power. Her high-mindedness is her armor. She's at the table. She is the table. The Hungry Hippos fighting for a seat while Bose is acknowledging that there's a bigger game to be played. She's building her post-Bravo world in real time. She feels that others squabbling over pebbles, and her income and influence are not coupled to her status as a housewife. You can't take down someone who doesn't need your platform to stand. So I think that's going to be the gag. You can only take down someone who's climbing your ladder. But if they've bought their own elevator, well, foolish on you. You know what I'm saying? There's a myth when moguls falls. This is a testament to everybody's waiting for Bose to slip so they can call her a villain. But Bose knows that in the real world, being too much is called market dominance. She's not really ripe for a fall. She's overripe for this franchise. She has been overqualified to be a housewife. She knows that, but she also knows it and is going to use it as a stepping stone because they're too self-absorbed to realize that they are only a chess piece in her game of life. They really think, this is the Kyle and the Dorit's of it, that they could actively try to bring her down, and maybe that's why I see some cautiousness on Kyle, because she's trying to figure out her game. But in all actuality, I think Bose is too smart and too powerful for the little petty shit that they are used to on this show, so she's not going to figure this out. While they're over there trying to pacify Amanda's manifestation, she's actually building up a situation that is going to do greater things for her, using this show as a springboard to even greater heights. While they're trying to get a bigger slice of the Bravo pie, Bose is already baking a whole different dessert in a larger kitchen. The all being an exit strategist. Again, her IVF journey, which she says admits to she's still on, planning 2 weddings. She has enough to know that that's enough to keep the fans invested and enough to keep the heat on her name in the headlines while she continues to build her brand. You can't orchestrate somebody's fall when they're the entire orchestra. Girl, bye. The people that should be afraid, though, is if you really are scamming like I suspect that Amanda girl is. I don't know that I'm actually getting ready. I'm probably not going to live tweet the reunion because I'm probably going to have to turn it off and go back to it because I can't do a whole bunch of yelling. And from what I understand, that is the entirety of the reunion. Bose is going to be sitting back looking like an African queen while they are acting crazy. Bose basically had gone on the record at Us Weekly and said she was just here to witness the madness energy. She's not going to be able to be edited as aggressive or bully because she stays out of the fray while they're drowning in the kiddie pool. She's just reporting on the nonsense. She was the only adult while the toddlers were screaming. And then when it becomes to Amanda, she's not going to back down. She's going to want the actual receipts. She's going to also want proof that what that girl is doing is not a scam because it's looking pretty scammy over here. And if all you got to say is she had one failed course, which may not have been a failure, it's just probably one out of a multi-offering that just didn't get filled, you can kick rocks. So, and you look crazy when someone like of Bo's character basically is calling you out on your bullshit. Like you're trying to tell her that what you are not, or what she is seeing looks crazy, but you mad at her because she called it out because it looks crazy and you don't have the backup for it. Girl, bye. Again, girl, bye. I know I've said that a lot during this because the more I talk, the more I realize that what they're trying to basically suspend our belief on the reality of what really is, they basically are calling it's not entertainment when it gets too real. That's what I don't understand either. Bose is playing the bigger game of her urgent life versus planning for the Bravo life because she knows the Bravo life is very fickle. The urgent life is 2 massive weddings. The checkmate is she's making sure that her next status meeting is with her design team and not trying to pacify these women crying about broken friendships or because you will or will not allow somebody to be a victim. She doesn't have time for not eating great food because she's going to be witness and the guest of honor at a world-class Ghanaian feast. Because she got people waiting on her and she don't have 2 hours to wait for somebody that can't find their chapstick. This is not how she moves. That's why I don't think Dorit will even realize or care that she's not even a part of the wedding. And I'm glad. I just am wondering if she's really going to care or she's going to make some dumb excuse that she can't leave the country at that time. Because Bo's wedding is not going to allow Dorit to be the star of her own pity party. She can't be the queen of her own wedding if she's trying to pacify this never-ending pit of need in Dorit. Bose doesn't apologize for being too high-minded because that mind is exactly what built the elevator she's using to leave the basement that these women on that show are stuck in. This is the executive summary. While these other women are rehearsing reads in the mirror, Bose is likely finalizing her slides. We know that the reunion just wrapped March 26th, and the tea is already out there, confirming every single checkmate move that I've already just previously talked about. She basically, Bose has already told Us Weekly that she was literally speechless and shocked by the intensity of the argument between Kyle, Dorit, and Erica. I'm wondering if this is probably one of those episodes where Andy is sitting there looking at them like he's crazy, or did he finally just get up and walk away? She said she wanted it to stop, but realized it was impossible, positioning herself as the only adult in the room. Bose also, she didn't back down on the scam nature of the narrative that Amanda does not want everybody to see. She basically said, I don't believe Amanda's always telling the truth about her life. She called out Amanda's money queen branding as being in poor taste and reaching for relevancy, because she doesn't give actionable things when in a book, in any of those cores. And just because those bad reviews don't exist doesn't mean that they were not actually written. She's not arguing about feelings. She's arguing about fact-checking. She has dismissed Amanda's entire business model on the national stage because manifesting without any true debt is a scam. And this cease and desist, she basically dropped that mic long before the reunion was even aired. Bose is treating her life as a series of deliverables. She's got this wedding, her family legacy, her IVF journey. I believe that is enough for her to be picked up for season 16. Sweet 16, even though those other women are running in circles. Bose is just looking fabulous and beautiful. Short hair, long hair. She's looking grand. She's not looking drained. She's looking ready to adjourn. She basically said, everybody got what they wanted to say out. That means the record is closed. I'm moving on to my next acquisition. Fire me, don't fire me. Hostile takeover or not. I'm actually think this is how it is when she's basically treating this whole theatrical stage like a business project that they failed because they're not business moguls. They are just hungry hippos looking for a marble. The scam of it all is all of those other women thought that they were stars of the show because they were the loudest. Dorit for storming off with a cigarette in hand. Erica and Kyle cussing out everybody. Amanda basically loudly typing out the prologue of her book. And all of a sudden, Bose was sitting back looking at these bitches argue in the most beautiful place in the world and not eating great food. But Bose was basically just only clocked in long enough to check out her wardrobe and making sure she didn't lose her cool, because she never lost her power of attorney. Checkmate, bitch. In Italy, she just didn't play host. She was risk management assessor. Amanda Francis, foreclosure, she already had audited her, telling them point blank that Amanda is not always telling the truth about her life. She's withholding the bad parts, manifesting this great life by self-editing out all the nasty bits. Just because the beef with the ex-girl or ex-wife doesn't happen didn't mean it didn't happen. doesn't mean the custody battle got ugly because you're not going through it now. Just because, again, there are no bad reviews and janky reviews on your course because you basically edit them off of your feed. That's why Bose, when she's speechless, she's not just disinterested. She is watching their asset become bankrupt in full time. And she's already planning her exit ramp. She already got her next move planned. Checkmate, bitch. Meeting is adjourned. The idea of Bose also outluxing Kathy Hilton, the undisputed queen of Bel Air, is a kind of checkmate move that we could watch in real time. At this time, there's a great wealth gap, but Kathy Hilton's money is built old money, institutional. Bo's wealth truly is self-made, but will become generational. You know, there's a big difference between 30 million and 350 million, but that 30 million that Bose has is more than what Kathy Hilton bought to the already Hilton billions, multi-millions, and billion-dollar brand. And unlike Amanda Francis, who's the first self-made breadwinner, the gag is, that's Bo's bitch, and you better recognize. Keely Watson is not a typical housewife husband. He's a powerhouse executive on his own turf. We have no idea what the other hippos are actually doing. And Amanda Francis, what exactly does your fiance do? I'm still very confused on that. Bose has already called her out. You're lying and you talk and your crass talk about money. Which is going to her mega mansion that she's getting ready to buy with Keely is going to dwarf Amanda's manifested dreams because she just got a reused house. Okay. When she's saying yes to life, meaning 10,000 square foot architectural mad piece, it's going to give her more props. In spite of the IVF journey, she's going to have what you are trying to manifest up. And you only gonna manifest it if more people give you money in the more janky courses. The gag is, Bose is rich. She's richer than the narrative. While they're fighting over who's the money queen, Bose and Keely are essentially performing a hostile takeover of Beverly Hills real estate. She didn't come to fit in with Kathy Hilton. Her next move is going to make Kathy's house look like a starter home. Is Kathy going to be hunky-dory about someone else bringing true bad bitch energy a bit closer to her? No. She's not going to confront it head on. She's going to try to do it with being dismissal, but she's going to try to act like I don't know her. Is she the one who blah, 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 when she truly flex? Because when Bose truly is really next flex as a boss, she's going to try again her confused grandmom trope, and it's not going to work. Because Bose will clock that shit in real time and basically move on. She does not seek Kathy's approval or anybody in that gang's approval. That silence that when she looks at you like you crazy, it's saying, I see you and I'm not going to waste my time even entertaining the craziness. Kyle already called Bose cold to her face. or no, excuse me, Bose already called Kyle cold to her face because Kyle was trying to figure out how she could one up on somebody she could never be at the same table with. Basically, Bose has already told them bitches, I'm not one of your fans and I'm not one of your employees, so get out of my face with that mess. There is not going to be a real showdown between the Kathy Hiltons and the rest of them because they would truly lose the executive audit. Instead of, they're going to try the death by 1,000 microaggression, but the gag is Bose isn't just too black or too high-minded. She's too smart to fall for that BS. She may try with that eccentric socialite shit, but she's going to be looking at her like an obsolete leadership, and she's going to drop the mic, meeting adjourned, bitch. And also, furthermore, I know that the room, when I keep referring to the room of Hungry Hippos, all the flexes that she's doing, and how I'm going to just end this with just a summary of how Dorit's narcissism is going to be almost self-protective because, again, Bose is not stupid. She's going to fish or cut bait. And because she's so self-absorbed, she's not even going to see it, y'all. Dorit basically said, and again, I'm going to repeat this, and I hate repeating myself, but this is basically true tip. Dorit Kemsley said something because she knows how to play the game, and she will say anything because she took a big dig. Because Dorit knows that her alliance with Bose pisses the fuck out of Kyle and Erica Jane. She know when she said that BS that she's been supportive of me. Yeah, Bose did. She allowed her to play the victim while Bose was studying all of them like a business project. Dorit is in her season of weaponized victimhood. Dorit isn't looking for a solution or truly support. She's looking for a platform and a captive audience. And she's mad at the others, and they continue to play Captain Save-A-Hole because Dorit is playing them like a violin. Bose is the only one in the room who has identified that this ship is sinking and is being intentionally steered into the rocks for screen time. And she still is not really in the fray, and she protects her with one and they back off, but then they come back to it, and then they go all out during the reunion because that's how you get more screen time and you are guaranteed your play, as long as you don't storm off and stay away or don't show up like Lisa Vanderpump. She wants an audience, not advice. I know about this, weaponized victims. When anybody, except for Bose, kinda, offers her logical advice on her divorce or finances, Dorit immediately pivots to how hurt she is. She doesn't want a way out. She just wants a reflector for more screen time. When she drags out this divorce with PK and the narrative and framed herself who protected everyone, she ensures she's the center of every scene. She's not really grieving the marriage. She's curating the funeral. She really does all this and then go back to his ass. That's going to piss me off. But anyways, this is Erica and Kyle. They're trying to save someone who's actively enjoying the attention that comes from drowning. Erica is facing a federal trial and a husband in prison who doesn't even know who she is. Gone through her domestic violence after that situationship broke up. And she's still spending energy trying to protect Dorit's feeling. This is a vanity project for them to look like good friends while the audience sees through this performance, because it really is performative. And I think Kyle and also Erica, who have both starred in other great performances, they've been relegated to supporting characters in her tragedy tour, and I know that's pissing them off. But the game and the gag is Bose is playing a bigger game. She's auditing these bitches. You see her more as an observer, that she was mostly speechless, not because she's confused, is she's assessing the liability. She treats Dorit like a brand under construction, but she ain't gonna do but so much, because when the asset starts to decline in value, she's gonna throw up the deuces. This is Bose. And to Dorit's chagrin, she ain't gonna see it coming. Dorit loves being the victim because it allows her to use her Karen lineage against anyone who challenges her. If Bose were to hold Dorit accountable for her narcissism, the legacy lady will immediately paint Bose as the bully. But she ain't gonna do that because they already saying that. She doesn't argue, she just stares. She lets Dorit's narcissism expose itself to what it is, because eventually she knows that Dorit could use the same woe is me crap to try to get Bose fired. But Bose ain't playing that game because her hands are going to be completely clean. And she is Kobayashi Maru in them all. In that scenario, the ultimate no-win is when this test is given. Kobayashi Maru is a test that all Starfleet cadets are given. Captain Kirk was the only one on record who actually beat it because he cheated, or he just reprogrammed the game. And that's what Bose did. They're basically trying to get her to win at a no-win situation, but she's reprogramming the game to benefit Bose and not them hoes. She knows about loyalty and friendship is nowhere in the zeitgeist of this show. She is looking for global branding. She can't get sucked under by the deep well of the trap of Dorit's narcissism. She doesn't choose either. She just remains speechless and stares and says, I don't recognize this authority of this test, and she ain't a Captain Save-A-Ho. Why would you save a victim who actually is only sabotaging the engine for more screen time? Bose is the Captain Kirk of Beverly Hills. She saw this no-win scenario, clocked it, and decided to change the parameters of the mission. Dorit and the Legacy ladies thought they were putting her through the Kobayashi Maru of Beverly Hills. They thought they had her trapped in a no-win scenario where she'd either have to... She would continue to baby a narcissist to get edited as a villain, but she was like, nah, girl, reprogram. She didn't come to save the ship. She came to audit the fleet. While the Hungry Hippos are going down with the wreckage, Bose is already on her next star base. Checkmate, meeting adjourned. And again, no, the game is rigged. Bose is making boss move. And who will drop who? As I said, Bose will drop Dorit 100%. That narcissism is Dorit's blindfold. She's so busy staring into the mirror of her own victimhood, waiting for the audience to clap, that she won't even see the executive excision coming. When Dorit costs more in reputational management than it brings value, the CEO will liquidate. She already started the audit. She sees that Dorit is a bottomless pit of need with zero ROI. While Dorit is rehearsing her next I'm so hurt monologue, Bose would already have adjourned the meeting, deleted the contract, and moved on to her global wedding tour. And Dorit is going to be standing there with her eyes bucked as much as they can and looking crazy and confused, just like non-dressing Sutton Streck did when they went into the room and looking for Garcelle and couldn't understand where Garcelle went because they were such assholes to that girl. You don't try to win a rigged game. You reprogram the entire simulation. And I know, y'all, am I body shaming these bitches? No, because we know all of them are abusing Ozempic. And they survive on almond air and filler. Calling them hungry hippos is the ultimate read. One, because it's not practice, but it's forceful to incinerate them. It is a metaphor, a perfect metaphor, because it captures the desperation in this game. The hippos aren't eating because they're hungry. They're snapping because they're programmed to grab every marble on a board before someone else does. You have these women who spend thousands to look effortless, frozen, and petite, but their behavior is loud, clunky, and aggressive. They're snapping their jaws at marbles like, who leaked the story? Why wasn't I invited to the weed dinner? They are paralyzed their faces so much that we couldn't even see the expression of checking the board. They're just mindlessly lunging for relevance. Bose is sitting there with a full plate, career, global reputation, double weddings. And she's watching these underfed women fight over a single plastic marble. She isn't snapping, she's dining. The gag of Beverly Hills is that everybody is full of hungry hippos in designer extra small. These women are so Botox they can even frown at their bad behavior, but they're snapping their jaws at every tiny bit of clout like their lives depended on it. They thought they could lure somebody like Bose into the swamp, but Bose doesn't play with plastic. She's looking at these fools like a wildlife documentary narrator. She's documenting the struggle for the last marble of the screen time before she adjourns the meeting and goes to a real dinner. Kyle and Dorit will hear the hippo reference and immediately think that I'm talking about their weight, but the real gag is that I'm calling out their predictable and frantic nature. They aren't really queens of Beverly Hills. They're just toys in a 1980s board game that Bose has already outgrown. Bose is playing the Kobayashi Maru of the C-suite. She did not come to win the game. She came to audit the players and then unplug the board. Checkmate, bitches. While you keep playing checkers, Bose is playing chess and yelling, checkmate, She's yelling out uno. She's yelling out domino, slamming the table, breaking the table. And that's all I got to say about that. You can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take hood music out the girl. But I'm going to end this with a word, just as I started this podcast. Do or do not do. There is no try. And that's a word from Yoda. I hope I have conveyed just how much fun I have had in creating this podcast. I've got my mojo back. Just set your intention or reset your intention. It could be daily if necessary. Mine is peace. No mental dumping over here. If I'm acting like I'm not listening, I'm probably not. I'm not your therapist. I'm not a therapist. Keep the crazy to yourself, child. You do you and leave me be. The sooner you figure that ish out, the happy you will be. So this is what I want to convey in this podcast. And that wraps another of FAFFO has a fro. Join me next time as I throw shade and point out the shade and simply have fun. Y'all have a great new year. What, y'all? What?